So, welcome back children. In the last class we have learnt about cardiac cycle, right? Now this one, that is circulatory system part 5. Today we will learn about different kinds of circulations and also about lymphatic system, right? So now in human body, that is in our body, we know that we have a heart with 4 chambers, right? So we have 4 chambered heart, and in our body, to complete one cycle, to do one complete circulation, so how many times is our blood passing through our heart? We know it is 2 times, right? One is pulmonary circulation and the other is systemic circulation, right? Pulmonary, we know the blood is carried to lungs, it is purified there, and the waste blood is expelled outside, and the pure blood is again carried back to heart. That is one circulation. And systemic circulation is all about the blood being taken to different cells and tissues, different tissues and cells in our body. So again from the cells and tissues, waste blood is again carried back to heart to send out through our lungs. So pulmonary circulation, systemic circulation. So two times our blood is passing through our heart to do one complete cycle. That is what happening in our bodies, right? That is clear. Now for certain lower animals, we are higher animals, right? Mammals, we belong to the category, mammalian category, mammals. So in mammals, being higher animals, they have a 4 chambered heart, and their bodies are so complex so that they need a heart with 4 chambers. 4 chambers means here there won't be any mixing of pure and impure blood. I mean oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. They will never get mixed. If mixed, it leads to fatality, it leads to fatal conditions like death. So it doesn't happen. But this is not the case for lower animals. What are lower animals? They may be fishes, amphibians, reptiles. So these category, they do not have much complex system. Their body systems are simple, right? So they here, if we are talking about single circulation, I can quote fish as an example. So fish has a heart with only 2 chambers, right? So only 2 chambers, 1 atrium, 1 ventricle, that's it. So in the body of a fish, its blood passes only once through its heart to do one complete cycle, okay? To complete a circulation, one circulation, blood passes only once through the heart of a fish. So that is single circulation. As I told you, its body is more simpler compared to other higher animals. So here what happens, both the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood is not separated at all. It's all mixed up. But still the animal can survive because it is a lower creature, right? So nothing happens in the case of fish. Now if we take even birds also, they have 4 chambered heart just like us, birds. For amphibians and reptiles, it is not single, not even double. They have 3 chambered heart. They don't have a 4 chambered heart like us, and they do not have 2 chambered heart like fish, but they have 3 chambered heart in the middle. It means some of the blood gets mixed up, okay? So that's the case for amphibians and reptiles. While coming to birds and mammals, it is perfect double circulation. There is no mixing of pure and impure blood. So based on the type of animal and also the number of chambers in our heart, we can divide our blood circulation like this, okay, single circulation, double circulation. Now let's see about lymphatic system. This is a new term. We know about venous system, we know about the blood systems in which arteries, they carry the pure blood, oxygenated blood, and veins, they drain the deoxygenated blood, okay. They clean up the cells and the tissues, they drain the deoxygenated blood, I mean they bring it out from the cells and bring it into our heart, and the heart takes care of that deoxygenated blood by sending it back to lungs to expel it outside. So that is that we generally know so far. Now we didn't come across this lymphatic system. So to understand about lymphatic system, we have to know the meaning of the term tissue fluid. Tissue, what is a tissue? We know tissue is nothing but a bunch of cells. I mean tissue, we can say muscle tissue, we can say blood tissue. These are if a group of cells form together, they make a tissues, and tissues together make an organ, organs together make an organ system, okay. Now so if we talk about, for example, our respiratory system, what are the tissues there, what are the organs there, what is the organ system there? So organ system means nose, everything, nose, windpipe, that is trachea, and the lungs. So all these are come under organ system. What are the organs? Organs means the trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, lungs, these are the organs. What are the tissues here? Now tissue is the substance with which the organ is made up of, right? If we take lung tissue, what lungs are organs. Now what is the tissue with which lung is made up of? Alveoli, right? So that is the basic meaning of tissue. Now what does tissue contain? It contains a group of cells, that's it. Now so tissue fluid is the liquid portion of blood. So what does blood contains? Blood is a liquid, but it also has solid particles also in it. Blood cells are there, so they come under solid portion of the blood, and the liquid portion which gives that flowy consistency, okay. So blood contains solid portion as well as liquid portion. Those RBC, WBC, they come under, RBC means red blood cells, WBC means white blood cells, so they come under solid portion of the blood, right. So now the liquid portion of blood with nutrients flows out of capillaries. What are capillaries? The endings of these arteries. See how is blood pumped in our body? How is it carried to our cells? The heart, first it pumps out blood, blood is carried by major arteries, and then it is carried by these capillaries. So while the capillaries are supplying blood to the cells around them, some portion, the liquid portion of blood which has nutrients in it, it flows out of capillaries. We know that capillary wall is very thin, only one cell thickness. See, if this is a capillary, if I cut it like this, the cross section, now this I am drawing, okay, it looks like this, only one cell thickness, see. Only one cell layer, okay, this is the lumen of the capillary. Now this is the wall of the capillary. How many cells thickness? One cell. So it is easy for things to come out of the capillary, that is in between the tissues, okay. So while the blood is being pumped in that way within the arteries which end as capillaries, this happens, the liquid portion of blood with nutrients, it gets collected in between the tissues, that is why we call that fluid. fluid as tissue fluid. It is also called as lymph. Lymph is nothing but the water portion of the blood which has nutrients and which came out of the capillaries and got collected in between our tissues, right. So, to understand, if you were on a long journey, prolonged bus journey or anything, if you are maintaining only one posture for prolonged time, sitting position, what happens? Your legs, they become like, you get a feeling that something is happening, something happened in your legs, that you feel numb sensation, you can't feel sensation in your legs, and they become swollen, which is called as edema. And even your footwear, if you happen to wear slippers or your shoes, they get a little tighter, right. You can notice all these, you feel all these things. Why is it so? Why? Because in that prolonged position, when the muscles don't move, then there is no pressure created in the vessels to carry that blood to our heart, to drain the blood to our heart. So, it gets collected there between our tissues only. So that is what this collection of tissue fluid, okay. So what is this lymphatic system doing? What is the main function of lymphatic system now? See, it is transporting tissue fluid to main bloodstream, right. Main bloodstream means the blood which is circulating within our arteries and veins, right. That is the bloodstream. So this liquid portion of blood with nutrients should be brought back to the main bloodstream. It should be sent back. It shouldn't be there only in the tissues forever. No, it doesn't happen like that. So who is bringing it back to the main bloodstream? This system called as lymphatic system. Okay. Now we already know about venous system, right. What is venous system doing along with draining the deoxygenated blood? Very well, it is draining the impure blood, that is right, and also it is transporting this tissue fluid, this venous system. VS is for venous system, venous, VENOUS. Venous system is also transporting tissue fluid to mainstream blood. So who is doing this function along with this venous system? There is another system which we have been discussing now, that is the lymphatic system. LS is for lymphatic system, written there, okay. So lymphatic system works parallel along with venous system. So both these systems are responsible to send back the liquid portion of blood which is filled with nutrients which came out of capillaries and got collected in the tissues. So that thing is taken back to the main bloodstream. So it is done by lymphatic system, which is specialized to do this function only. The main prime function of lymphatic system is this alone, whereas venous system, it does this as well as it drains the deoxygenated blood from our cells and body tissues, right. Now, so lymph, now we know a lymph is actually a Latin word for water. I told you capillary is a Latin word for hairs, right, hairs, body hairs or fine hairs. In Latin they call them as capillaries. So in the same way, lymph is also a word taken from Latin. In Latin they call water as lymph. So this tissue fluid is nothing but the liquid portion, right. There is no solid portion of blood. There are no RBC. And the WBC will be moving in between arteries, between veins. They will just move everywhere in our body wherever they recognize any foreign particle to fight and kill them in a way to protect our body. But then there is no solid portion in our tissue fluid, only the liquid portion of blood. And yes, it has nutrients, it has certain nutrients, and that is why it should be taken back to the main bloodstream. And also to maintain the fluid balance in our body, the fluids should not be collected in places which there should be no fluid accumulation, right. Fluid should be moving everywhere from our vessels, and then in between the tissues it will be continuously moving, right. So to maintain our fluid balance and also to transport these liquid portion with nutrients, this lymphatic system plays a major role. Now, see, in detail we can see here. Now, so this lymph it acts as a link between blood and our body cells, right. See, from the blood, where are the arrow marks pointing to? From the blood to the cells, these essential substances, the substances which are essential for us, they are carried by this lymph from our blood to our body cells. Whereas excretory products, what is excretory? The things which need to be voided out, removed out from the body. They should come out of the body because they are harmful for our body, and they should be removed out. So, such excretory products are transported from our body cells to the lymph. Body cells, inside the cells there are many small cell organelles, right. These organelles, they continuously work, okay, to produce any things which our body need. We are growing, right, to produce the things which our body need, and also many anabolic and catabolic processes are happening. So, in that processes, these excretory products are released from our body cells, which should come out of the body. So, this lymph brings out them and carries to the blood, and blood gets filtered in our kidneys, and also the digestive system also helps there, and somehow those products will be coming out of the body through sweat or urine or feces, whatever. So, this is how lymph acts as a link between our blood and body cells. So, now another important point is that for pure blood to flow in our body, there is a pressure, right, in our arteries. Pressure is there. Pressure is exerted by the pumping of the heart, right. It pumps and it keeps on pumping and it creates a pressure, so that all the oxygenated blood is in spurts, like a jet, in the form of jet, in the form of spurts, it is carried to all our body cells. But if you see lymphatic system and venous system, the cells are not pumping the blood back to our heart, right. There is no pumping mechanism, there is no much pressure here. So, but still the blood should be, the deoxygenated blood should be carried back to the heart, right. Where is our heart? It is comparatively above when compared to our legs and other parts, right. So, the blood has to move against the gravity. So, how can this happen? The muscles which are present in our legs, in our waist, while working, while walking, while doing any activity, these muscles move and they create some pressure, and that is one of the reason to push that lymph or that venous blood to our heart again. Along with muscles, we know that veins contain valves, right. Valves are not there in arteries because it is not needed there. The heart can pump the blood properly, but whereas in veins there should be something to guide the blood, the flow of the blood, right, in one direction only. See, in a vein the blood should always flow from the cells to the heart, right, but never from heart to cells. If that happens, all that unwanted things, they get collected in our cells and in our body tissues only. It poisons our body and we may die. So, if veins are not functioning properly, what happens? There will be swelling, there will be wounds, there will be gangrene, and we finally have to remove that part. We have to go through a surgery which needs removal of that part. So, that is those are the consequences we will have to face if the valves are not functioning properly. So, the point is that veins have valves, and also lymph vessels also have valves. These valves, they guide the flow of the blood in one direction only. See, now if you take, this is a vessel here, now the blood is flowing like this. Now here there is a valve here, okay. See, there is a valve. Now the blood, it's flowing in this direction. So the valve is allowing the blood flow. Now if the blood tries to come like this, what happens? The blood only will push these valves. These valves are like this, right? Here if the blood is coming like this, these valves are pushed and this opening gets closed. So, how does it become? When the blood is flowing in wrong direction, that is in this direction, what happens? These valves, they just close the blood vessel. So, there is no flow of the blood in opposite direction. So, in veins and lymph vessels, blood only flows from cells to heart, not from the heart towards cells. Okay. Right. So, that is the importance of valves. So, muscles and valves, they play a major role in the transport of this tissue fluid in the right direction. Okay. Now, so I have told you lymph is the tissue fluid, right? The liquid portion of the blood filled with nutrients which is present in the tissues, we call it as lymph. Now, what is serum? Serum, we know when something happens, a cut or a wound, after some time the bleeding stops and there is clot formation, right? So, after the formation of clot, there is some liquid that oozes from the blood clot, right? What is that liquid called? That is also the same thing. That liquid is also the liquid portion of blood with nutrients only. So, but that is called as a serum. We shouldn't call it as lymph. Lymph is only which is present in between the tissues inside a body, in between our tissues. If that same fluid is present in between our tissues, then only we use the term lymph or tissue fluid. But if the same thing, what is the same here? Same thing means, I mean it as the liquid portion of blood with nutrients which is flowing out after formation of blood clot is called as serum. It is an important point, S-E-R-U-M, serum. So, these are two terms, lymph and serum. Lymph is entirely different from serum. Both are liquid portions only, but that is present within body tissues, and this comes after formation of blood clot. So, this is the basic difference between serum and lymph, and this is the thing that lymphatic system and venous system do. Both these systems, they work parallelly to maintain the fluid balance in our body, water balance in our body, and also to just transport the tissue fluid back to the main bloodstream. And venous system is very important to drain our impure blood, right? So, this is about single and double circulation, and this is about lymphatic system, and tomorrow we will come with a new topic. Hope this is clear. Thank you.